Hello and welcome to another edition of the Inside View. I am Commander Marc Claycomb, and today I am here with Communication Supervisor Joanna Booth, and we're going to talk about her position in the Communication Center at the Melbourne Police Department. How are you today?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm awesome. If you would, tell us a little bit about you.
Moved to Melbourne in 2001. I have been a dispatcher since 1996. I started my career at the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Got married and moved here and continued 911.
Well, we are happy that you moved here.
Well, thank you.
You've been an asset to the Melbourne Police Department and the Communication Center the entire time you've been here. Can you tell us a little bit about a day in the life of?
A day in the life of, expect the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen. It might be a very routine day, or it just might go from a routine to what just happened kind of day. You come in, you take a position, you relieve the night shift, you are always ready to go home, log in, start answering phones and 911s right away, or work a radio position, whatever that might be, whether it's police, fire, or teletype. Answer your phones, your 911s, you assist others. Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's amazing because the City of Melbourne is a full-service dispatch center for police and fire services for about 50 square miles and about a 90,000 person bedroom population that swells to about 150,000 during the day. So you guys are incredibly busy, and as with police and fire, your day is never ever the same. And you mentioned a couple different positions in the communication center. Can you kind of break down what those different positions are and kind of what they do generally?
Sure. We'll go with when you come in here training. We start off with the phones, 911s and teletype. Phones and 911s are exactly that. Emergency, non-emergency calls, calls to be entered into the computer, the CAD, computer-aided dispatch system. For police or fire response, we do take fire and rescue calls to be dispatched out. And then the next position would be teletype. And I tell my trainees teletype is the hardest position to clear. If you can clear that one, you're doing good. It's kind of a catch-all, but teletype is where we do wanted person checks, driver's license checks, criminal histories. We enter persons is missing, vehicles is stolen property. We talk to other agencies through the teletype computer. It's just kind of a catch-all. We do a lot of digging for the officers. Find me this, see if you can look up this, and then the next position would be the fire position, and we have 8 fire stations in our city. So we dispatch for police, or I'm sorry, for rescue, but also fires, investigations, even just something, like an assist. And then once you've cleared that, then you move to the PD radio, and that's where you dispatch the routine, non-emergency, but also emergency high priority calls.
So you really are on the front line, the first of the first responders. You are the ones taking that initial call before it gets entered, and there's a lot of stress involved in this line of work and all of those aspects, police, fire, and rescue, and you're the tip of the spear for both of those things. So you're filtering all those calls in, and I would imagine being in a communication center and only talking to somebody on the phone in some of the worst days of their life in high stress situations, that adds a lot of stress to your day, and you can't physically respond to help them, so you're doing everything you can, get the resources that they need and dispatching. So that's a pretty high stress situation, which I clearly can relate to. How do you deal with that? How do you self-care? How do you ensure that you are staying healthy and not holding all of that stress in from other people and yourself?
The first and foremost is the shift you work with. We really look out for each other. We can kind of see these physical signs, to say, hey, let me take your position, go outside, go for a walk for a little bit, maybe on our days off, we check on each other, hey, just, making sure you're okay. So we do try to get out of here to go out and look at the blue sky, you know, for a little bit, take a couple laps around and back. It's just something to kind of gather our thoughts back together. As far as being outside of the comm center and days off, something I tell my trainees, you have to have a life outside of this. This is a career, but you need to have a life outside. I've got a great support system at home. I've got 2 Jack Russells that keep me constantly busy. As soon as I walk in the door, there's a tennis ball at my foot. Come on, let's go play. But like I said, I've got a good support system. They know if I've kind of had a rough day, they'll see me wandering the backyard, and I just do that for a couple minutes. Kick my shoes off, walk around barefoot.
Grounding, very important.
And once I come back in, they're like, "Oh, okay, mom's back. Everything's good." So whether it's some of us exercise, some of us have hobbies with mechanics. You got to have a hobby and a life outside of work.
Absolutely.
To stress. Dr. Jones explained it best. You go to work in the morning and you're down here, and you get to work and you take a call 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 and you reach this peak. And then, on your way home, it takes you 10, 15 minutes. Well, you've de-stressed, but you're here. You're not down here where you started. So you need to find something to continue to bring you back down to normalcy.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dr. Jones. We love Dr. Jones.
Love you.
And we were talking earlier about the peer support system that we have built in here. So you clearly have peers in here that you can communicate with, but there's a peer support group within the police department, and there's designated personnel that you can go to. And I know you've been crucial since the beginning in the critical incident stress management program that we have stood up here at the Melbourne Police Department. It's an excellent group of people, and Dr. Jones is a crucial part and foundational part of that as well. We're very lucky to have Dr. Jones associated with us for the mental health side. And it's important we teach people about that in onboarding, because it's a crucial part of self-care, and self-care is incredibly important. And you hit on all of the high points in that you have to have a life outside of this so that you can step away from it and de-stress, and it's high stress. So you've been here for several years. I'm sure you've gone through thousands and thousands of calls. Is there any call that is outstanding to be one of the crazier calls that you can remember working through?
Outstanding, outrageous, but teamwork in 100% of the way, and not just with our agency, but with the surrounding agencies, was the armed robbery that we had at the TGI Fridays. That was it. They were closing. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 armed people came in, took a couple girls, I guess you could say, hostage, and the others were able to safely lock themselves in the manager's office, and that's when I got the 911 call. And Ray was working primary, and where it sits is right there at that border between our agency in West Melbourne and the sheriff's office. So I got the 911 that they were being robbed. They had one of the servers by her hair, and during the call you could hear her banging on the office door, "Let me in, they've got a gun in my head, they're going to shoot me," and they're asking, "What do I do?" And I told them, I said, "Under no circumstance open that door. We don't want to go from 1 hostage to now 4. And Ray was on primary, coordinating between our agency, West Melbourne, and the sheriff's office, setting up a perimeter, communicating with all of those officers, and you were there.
I remember it well.
You were there. And then hearing the shots being fired on the call, and you're wondering, was that us? Was that them? Was anybody hurt? But we did get the bad guys. Everybody at TGI Fridays walked out physically unharmed. But that one probably stands out of.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
That was a good day. That was a good day for teamwork. That was a good day to, put your training to work.
It is It is an outstanding call in history for sure, and it was an unusual call in that we had the majority of it captured on 911 from the onset, and we don't normally get that. And it was a job well done by everybody, and that's the reason it came out the way that it did. And I think we had 24 police officers in about 2 minutes on scene, and it was not the day for those two guys to do it.
No, I mean, the majority of the squad was SWAT.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. Another edition of the Inside View and a little bit of insight into the Melbourne Police Department Communication Center.